A dragon without its rider is a tragedy. A rider without its dragon is dead. Period.
Hi everyone, my name is Sive. Welcome to my booktube channel and welcome to another anticipated release vlog. I will link the playlist where I've done a few other videos like this where I pick an anticipated release of mine and I vlog my reading experience with that one book. I feel like I start every video being like, I'm super excited about this video because I wouldn't be making a video if I wasn't excited about it. And the thing that I'm really excited about right now is ONYX STORM by Rebecca Yarros. This is the third out of 5 for the Empyrean series. It is a new release that just came out yesterday. You would have seen some footage of me and a good friend of mine, Abby, going to a midnight release party. That was my first experience going to anything like that at my local bookstore. It was such a blast, had a great time. I have since started this book, but I'm 20 pages in. So I read the prologue in the first chapter and I am off of Goodreads, I'm off of Instagram. I don't trust any of you to not spoil this book for me. So we're gonna be reading this together, vlogging it. These videos are always gonna be non-spoiler. Exposition was great. The prologue was pretty much exactly, timeline-wise, the prologue happens right after the events of the second book, Iron Flame, and then the first chapter skips 2 weeks ahead of that. So we have issues that we're trying to resolve. We're back with all of our favorite people. I'm very, very excited to get into this book. Definitely way more into the lore and the conspiracies for this book than I really have been for any other anticipated release vlog that I've done. Shout out very quickly to this beautiful edition. Gorgeous map on the end papers. Definitely wish it was in color, but that's okay. I also have my beautiful black dragon bookmark that I'm going to be using. Fits perfectly with the theme of this book. So hope you enjoy this video. Let's see what shenanigans we get up to in the next couple of days while I read this book. I am really going to try and take it slow. I would love to do like a week and a half of reading this book. If it takes longer than that, fine. I'll talk to you later. Okay, hi and good evening. I have a reading update for you for ONYX STORM. I had read like 20 pages and 20 pages. One sitting I had read 20 pages, the next sitting I read 20 pages. But recently I have been able to sit down and actually read a good chunk, and that happened today and yesterday. So between all of those, I am now a little over a quarter of the way through. I have made it to page 160, chapter 19, and I have a lot of thoughts. This is going to be a spoiler-free reading vlog. This is a fantasy with a lot of war strategy, heavy on the relationships, heavy on friendships, and there is a found family element because these characters are training to be dragon riders, and it's very loyalty. You basically like trauma bond with your squad to graduate from this college. So Violet and her friends are now in the second year of their, education. There has been a number of reveals that have just heightened what the end result of training and being a dragon rider means. The stakes have never been higher. Cadets are not necessarily being pulled into the war just yet, but riders that have graduated and are on the front lines and doing patrols are dying at a faster rate than ever before because of a threat that has basically been revealed in the past books. There's a lot of nuance to this story, and I am fully in depth of the layers here. Like, I don't think I've been this engaged in each element of magic and lore and character relationships and the politics. I don't think I've been as engaged in a fantasy book in this way since I read Daevabad trilogy. I am like tracking everything. You know, every single sentence that she's writing, it feels like there's a deeper meaning to it. And yeah, coming up on the halfway point of the entire series and of this book. As I read more, I'll be refreshed in telling you elements about the story that I really enjoy. But the first one that kind of comes to mind just from the last few scenes that feel fresh to me is the romantic relationship between Xaden and Violet. They are ride or die to like the most brutal extent, unapologetic in their love for each other and how that affects the people around them for better and definitely for worse and way worse. Gosh, it's really hard to not think of them as a toxic relationship because they're in a toxic environment. So like, how are you meant to cultivate a healthy relationship in a toxic environment? I don't know, but to me, I eat it up, right? Xaden walks in the room and looks at her, I'm kicking my feet. Like, she passes him in the hallway and he like smirks at her, I'm squealing. I don't know what it is about their chemistry that is just so well written, and the tension is insane. I will say the relationships and the politics are heavier on the front half of this book, whereas in Fourth Wing, I would say what was heavier was the actual dragons. So they're obviously going through a lot of like discovery with their dragons, but unfortunately, I don't really feel that the dragons are really having like a lot of page time so far in this book, and we're about to have a setting change. So they're about to travel, which I'm hoping means that we will get a little bit more of the dragons on page. Super loving this. Listen, I love this series. Like, this is going to be a great reading experience for me, a very positive reading blog. I can't imagine a world where I don't like fall in love with this book. So really enjoying this. I am gonna stop for the evening. I've got work tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday though, and I'm hoping to get a lot of reading done this upcoming weekend, and will take you along with me. I'm enjoying it. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Hello, hi, good afternoon. I read a little bit of ONYX Storm, and I was doing a little bit of reading last night. Woke up first thing this morning, it's the weekend, hi. And I did do a little bit more reading. So I am now almost at the halfway point of ONYX Storm. I'm on page 234, chapter 27. And I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update before I get into more reading this afternoon. I have about an hour and a half to read before I have to go be doing something else. Okay, we've traveled. They're in a new location and there's a new rule that applies. And it is creating some very complicated problems that need to be solved. Again, heavier, much heavier on the politics and the attempted diplomacy by our lovely characters who are raised in very brutal black and white like situations. In this war college, it's either you live or die. And watching them have to navigate a gray area, you need a nuance, you know? You need to be able to see things from both sides. You need to be able to have a conversation with someone without threatening their life when they immediately don't do what you ask. And it is creating some rather humorous moments. I was definitely expecting the tone of this book to get way serious, way quickly, and I know it will, but I think I'm pleasantly surprised by the amount of humor that Rebecca Yarros is still committing to have in these books. I love the one-liners, I love the snark, and I love watching characters get uncomfortable. Violet and her squad are having to be nuanced people, and that is hilarious to me. Now we are at a point where said situation has escalated, and the next scene I'm about to read is a fight scene because they screwed up, someone screwed up, and yeah, they're gonna need to either fight their way out of this or just like offer something new that will get these people's attention. Really enjoying this, super good. I think I'm staying engaged. I obviously wish I had more time to read, but I did say that I wanted to slowly go through this book. So I'm happy with the pace that I've been reading this, but I'm definitely ready to do a lot more reading today and read a good few more chapters. So I will keep you posted. Hi everyone, it is a few days later and I have not really been reading a whole lot in the evenings. I have just had like a really busy couple of days, especially after work. I just haven't had any time to read, and I've been slowly reading a few like pages here and there on lunch breaks. So I have made more progress, but it's been 20 or 30 pages at a time over the last like 4 days. To give you an update, I'm on page 414. It's my first night home and I'm not really in the mood to read. I have been really stressed and I feel like I want to not use my brain right now. And because I'm closing in on the end of ONYX Storm, I just want to make sure that I'm like really giving it my full attention. So though I really want to watch a comfort movie, what I'm going to do is commit to reading a chapter and just see if I want to continue after that. And if not, I'm going to like put on Mary Poppins or like an old comfort movie or something like that. So I'm fine. I am loving this book, but not loving life right now. Sorry, I'm just being real. I'll see you in a chapter. Hello, beautiful people, and good evening. I am joining you from Friday, and if you cannot tell, my mood has lifted. I am so excited to have a few days of very relaxed, free time. Starting with this evening, I am hopefully going to be finishing ONYX Storm tonight. Last night I chatted with you briefly to give you an update on how my week had gone. I was able last night to read 2 chapters, another 20 pages forward. I'm on page about 440 right now. I've got 90 pages to read and all evening to do that. Of course, I'll let you know if that doesn't happen, but my ideal would be to finish that book. Hope you guys are all doing well and have enjoyed your week. And pray for me. I'm scared. I have avoided spoilers. I'm definitely nervous, but very excited. I'll let you know how it goes. I finished ONYX Storm, and it's been a few weeks. I have sat on my thoughts and feelings, and I am now ready to tell you guys what I thought. What I'll say is that I liked it. I borderline loved it. I'm giving this a 4-star. Starting off, my thoughts are, I feel that Rebecca Yarros did commit to a heavier fantasy tone than romantasy tone, like what we saw in Fourth Wing. I feel that that is a good choice as she like escalates the series, grows as a writer, and of course like the Empyrean series, we need a resolution, and I understand some of the choices that she made. I was a little surprised to see as many negative reviews about this come out because new characters being introduced doesn't bug me. I don't mind if I'm on the back foot a little bit and feel like I have to catch up. That doesn't necessarily take me out of the story. Can understand and empathize why that might for somebody else. Additionally, if you don't like quest fantasy where there is a travel component, you are not going to like this book. The entire middle third of it can feel very rhythmic and repetitive if you do not like travel fantasy. They arrive to a new location and ask the same question of a different group of people probably 4 or 5 times with varying results, and the plot is furthered by the answers that they get. I mentioned that I did wish that the dragons got a little bit more page time. I can confirm that that happens, definitely towards the end of this book. Additionally to the quest fantasy, if you are not a person who likes political fantasy, this book is also going to be a struggle for you. There is barely any politics in Fourth Wing, and I think there's a lot of beautiful things about how accessible that book is, and I can see a regular romance reader having that book as an entryway into fantasy and feeling like, wow, I'm relating, this is very accessible, like I said. Now is the point that the politics get really heavy. Like I said, I found a lot of joy in watching my favorite characters who normally go at problems with brute force, having to rein that in, learn a new tactic and a new angle. And I know it sounds like I'm defending this book. It's because I am. I do think that this book is good. This is not a 5-star read, and the reason for that is because of the lack of actual plot being furthered. The large arc of the entire Empyrean series was not actually furthered that much. There's a threat that we're no closer to solving, honestly, on page 1 than we were at the end of this book. That's frustrating, absolutely. But I am not a purely plot reader. I had an amazing reading experience. I do not have any problem with reading this book and getting to know my characters, my favorite characters, better. So my theory on why you might have seen this book poorly rated is because it is definitely more quest oriented, a lot more politics, and ultimately the plot, as far as the overarching progress of the Empyrean series, was not enough to constitute a over 500-page book. One last kind of final beef is I genuinely feel like I need to reread the last 40 pages of this book another 2 times before I'm gonna grasp what happened. Also, one of my least favorite, it's not even a trope, it's not a trope, it's just a thing that happens in any book, any genre. I won't tell you what it is, but it happens at the end of this book. And I know that going into freaking whatever the 4th book is going to be called is going to be having to deal with that least favorite thing. So it does tank my enjoyment and my anticipation of the next book. But ultimately, I'm super glad that I vlogged this book and that I got to enjoy it and share my experience with you guys. I am very excited for continuing this series, but I'm not so pressed that I feel like desperate for book 4 and devastated that it probably won't be until 2027 that we get the sequel. So my friends, all of that to say, thank you so much for joining me for another anticipated reading vlog. I hope you enjoyed. Please let me know down in the comments your genuine and honest thoughts on ONYX Storm. Do you disagree with me? Do you see any insight in my potential reasoning of why other people didn't enjoy it as much? Hope you're all doing well and reading great stuff. If you have not subscribed already, I would really love to have you, so please feel free to do that. Other than that, have a great rest of your day. I will see you in the next video. Bye.